We are good to go. So, hello, everybody. I'm excited to have Gretchen with me today. Gretchen is one of my clients who has graduated from my anti-arthritis method program. And today she's going to share about her experience and some of the changes that she's seen in her health after doing the program. So, welcome, Gretchen. I am so excited that you're here with me today, and I really appreciate that you took some time out of your day to do this with me. And I
Absolutely.
Wonderful. I know that these types of talks are so important for people to see what's possible for them. And I think that they can be so inspiring and so encouraging. So I really am glad that we're doing this today. So as we get started, Gretchen, I wanted to go back, or if you could kind of remember back before the program, what kind of challenges were you experiencing with your arthritis before you join the program? What kind of, and maybe mention the type of arthritis you have and what that looked like for you.
I have rheumatoid arthritis a few years now, and I had started the AIP diet previously, and I kind of sit around 80% compliant with it. So I've seen lots of improvement. I have no pain, but I still have some symptoms and swelling. Um, and I wanted to try and get that 20%. What changes could that make for me?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so you had been doing the AIP diet. Was there anything else that you had tried that had either worked for you or not worked for you?
Um, I've done all kinds of reading and research and different caregivers, um, and really came a long way. But I still couldn't put two and two together as to this type of food causes this problem. I hadn't been able to correlate that yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious, just as a side note, so feeling about 80%, but you still were like, there's got to be somewhere I can get that extra 20 or get closer to that extra 20. So can you tell me what were some of the things that you were, had as goals in your life or things that you wanted to do that you needed to get closer to being that 100% feeling better? Does that make
Um,
sense?
Getting for me, it was getting some of the swelling out of my wrists more so that I can, we cycle a lot here in the town that I live in, and to be able to put pressure on my wrists writing. Um, so that's been definitely helpful.
Gotcha. No, that makes sense. It's always, I find it sounds small, but it's actually a really big thing.
It
A
is a
lot of
big
those
thing.
small things are big things
Yeah.
when it comes to what we're able to do and not do. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know that, like everybody else, you probably had some hesitations to work with me before you did. I think we had talked maybe a couple times before you had decided to join the program.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's totally natural to, be skeptical or hesitant because, I think a lot of people want to know that this is going to be the right decision and it's going to
Exactly.
be the right thing and it's going to
The
work
end
for
all.
them. Yeah, exactly. And can you tell me, what made you decide to make the decision to join the program?
Um, I obviously wasn't doing it completely on my own. For me, I needed accountability, and you provided that. It's for me, once I put my money down on something, then I am now accountable to it and to you and the group.
Mhm.
And cost is a factor, I think, for me and a lot of people.
Mhm.
But once I did make the commitment, I was in. So
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like a lot of times there's so many, freebies and things online that we could
mhm.
try. And I know I've been there too with all sorts of things. It's like, oh, it's kind of like shiny object syndrome.
Right.
You're like, that sounds interesting. That sounds good. And you try these like a bunch of free guides and things, and I feel like almost it keeps you going down and around that rabbit hole
hmm
continually, and
hmm
it can be exhausting. I think as well, just trying all these new things and not having things stick, or
Right,
even starting things and then just not finishing them.
not
Because I
finishing it. And
agree with.
that for me goes back to accountability.
Yes, yes. And I find that once we invest that money in ourselves and that time in ourselves, that's when we really, are motivated to stick to it and make it a
Yes,
priority in our lives. So I
yes,
think that's a great point. Thanks for sharing that.
yes.
And what was the first thing that you noticed about the program that started to help you?
The weekly coaching calls with the group setting. And there was always something that came out either by you or somebody else for either a new website or a new recipe or something that you could use. And then everybody is freely sharing that information. You would actively give us the websites and stuff, things that I couldn't find on my own or hadn't been able to at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is like I always say that's why you guys hire me.
Yeah.
That's what I'm supposed to do for you is make this process as simple as possible and
Mhm.
save you time. You're
Yeah.
not supposed to keep doing all that research. That's what I'm here to provide for you is all that information that you do need and the
Yes.
correct information as well. I
Yes.
think is really
Yeah.
important too.
Tell me what works.
Yes, exactly. And what do you think stood out for you, Gretchen, if you were to compare this to other things that you've tried? How do you think that the anti-arthritis method program is different from other things or other programs that you may have tried in the past?
um, the fact that, everybody in the group settings, you and everyone else, we're all dealing with relatively the same thing. And that you had some of the answers for us, the supplements or the powders, and um, that was extremely helpful.
Good, good. Yeah, and that's like I said, another thing I just want to make sure that you guys are getting what you need and not having an overload of information, but enough information that you understand what it is that you're doing and why we're doing what we're doing.
Hmm.
And of course, when it comes to supplements, sometimes we do need to tweak those depending on a person's individual needs, but I make sure that you guys are set up with a company and an account so that you're going to get good quality supplements that I can trust that they're not going to have fillers or harmful ingredients or things that are going to trigger your
Yeah.
symptoms as well. Because that to me is part of making it simple is you guys can just hop on and order those things. And you're also getting recommendations from me that are going to benefit you and why they're going to benefit you. Because I know we can also go down rabbit holes with supplements because there's so many out there. There's so
Yeah.
many online and they pop up in our, Facebook feed and everything. And you could take 20 different supplements and you don't need them all.
No, you don't. Which ones work? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And also sometimes there's certain supplements that we would take in the beginning of a process and some that we would take at the end, or months down the line. And we don't need to take everything and anything.
Hmm.
There's a method to every one of the supplements that I recommend and the purpose for them as well. So we try to stick to just a handful and not
Yes.
a whole, like not as many as you can hold in your hand but as many as we can count with one hand. So Gretchen, can you tell me about some of the improvements in your health that you've seen since joining the program? I'm always curious, and I know everybody else would love to hear what changes have you seen in your health and in
Uh,
your body?
Definitely more energy, which, I've tended to be a high energy person, but so it's nice to see that back. And then for me, just more flexibility in my wrists, with less swelling there.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes. So lots of mountain biking and things like that planned for this summer.
Yes. Yes.
Good, good. No, and I totally remember being there where my wrists were so fragile and so weak. I couldn't do yoga or
Exactly.
push-ups or put any weight on them because they just were inflamed. So I know where you're coming from. That is so frustrating. And it affects so many things too, like not only does it affect being active and the way things that we want to do, but it's also just like other things like just cooking or cleaning, it
Yes,
makes everything so much harder.
yes, it
So
does.
I'm really excited for you that you finally are getting close to that 100% from the 80% in that right
Mhm.
direction so that you can use those wrists again.
Yep, yep.
And anything else in terms of your results or what you've learned on the program, Gretchen, that you're really proud of?
Um, I am proud of being able to recognize problem areas with the food now, to be able to put two and two together. So I can consciously go, well, if I eat that, I know I'm going to hurt here.
Yeah.
And it's going to be from that food, where before I was not able to make that correlation.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, that's such good information to have because everybody's a little different.
Hmm.
And that's what we really want to support you guys through is learning what works specifically for you and your body. And sometimes those things are what works now. And even down the line, some of those things, you'll have more things that will work for you than
Yeah,
what works now. But it really teaches you how to discern that and what to look for. So I think that's really powerful. And I think it is something that you should be proud of because I know the program is simple, but it doesn't mean that it's always easy. There's always some
correct.
challenges that come up. And that's why we have that group accountability is to really help you stick to it. And if you go off track, to help you get back on track. And did you find that the group calls were helpful for that, or just being a part of the program helped with that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, there was always some little bit of information that you could glean out of it, and um, yeah, it was great.
Good. Yeah, I always say I have the best clients. I always have the best group of clients. Our calls are so positive and so encouraging. And yeah, I think it's just a really great place to be. So I'm glad you were able to be a part of it and contribute to it because I think that we just have such a lovely group of people. And people with positive attitudes, people that are really willing to do the work and reach out for support so that they can get through the process and learn what they need to learn so that they can get their quality of life back. So I feel like there's that, a lot of positive energy and a lot of support and encouragement that goes on in that group dynamic. And so I really thank you for being a part of that and contributing to that dynamic as well when you were in the program too, because I think
Yeah.
it makes such a huge difference. And before we close out, Gretchen, can you tell me how else has your life improved since you had some health improvements with the program? What's
You
changed for
know,
you?
I think just better attitude, just clearer on things, um, knowing that you don't have to sit with the pain. It's not indefinite. You can get through it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the attitude adjustment, I guess.
Well, I'm so glad that you're feeling better. I'm so glad that your wrists have really improved so you can get back to doing your bike riding and that, you're being active and that
Hmm.
quality of life that you really enjoy. And especially, I know you're out in the mountains there. So I'm sure there's so much there that you can enjoy too this coming spring and summer. So I'm
Yeah,
really excited for you.
yeah. Thank you.
And again, thank you so much for coming here today and sharing your story. I know that it will be really encouraging to so many people who will see this in the group and on
Good,
the YouTube channel. So
good,
I really, really appreciate it, Gretchen. And thank you for watching, everybody. And I will see you again soon. And Gretchen, take care of yourself.
yep,
And I hope to hear from you too.
yep, yep. Thank you.
Hey, bye for now.
Alrighty, bye bye.